From close air support in Nicaragua to the amphibious landings on the black sand beaches of Iwo Jima, the United States Marine Corps has been relied upon by this nation as an innovator on the battlefield. Continuing with the tactical employment of helicopters in the Korean War to the launching of vertical lift-capable AV-8 Harriers in forward areas, the Marine Corps has consistently studied, researched, tested, and refined systems and concepts that have given them the edge in battle. Nowhere is this more evident than in the vital role that maritime pre-positioning ships have played in providing quick combat-ready equipment and supplies in any corner of the globe. While met with great success in Operations Desert Shield and Desert Storm and Operation Restore Hope, the Marine Corps Combat Development Command has studied and analyzed the use of MPF capabilities in these conflicts and has developed the next-generation concept for Naval Expeditionary Force Power Projection, known as Seabasing. But before going into the details of Seabasing, let's take a closer look at how maritime pre-positioning forces were used, in particular during Operation Restore Hope. It is December 1992. The setting is Somalia. News and media syndicates have repeatedly flashed film clips and sound bites revealing the devastating starvation of Somali people by ruthless warlords. There is chaos in the streets of Mogadishu and in outlying cities. The international community is placing increasing pressure on the United States to take action. The world can wait no longer watching innocent people die. The United States, the only country in the world with capable forward deployed forces, decides to act. The mission for the Joint Task Force Commander: provide security so private volunteer and non-governmental organizations can organize and deploy relief efforts to feed hungry Somalis. The forces available: a Navy and Marine Corps amphibious task force and maritime pre-positioning ships. Let's review how these events unfolded. On the 1st of December, the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit, already conducting naval forward presence operations in the Indian Ocean, sails to the vicinity of Mogadishu. Simultaneously, the Maritime Pre-Position Ship Squadron's Offload Preparation Party and Survey Liaison Reconnaissance Party fly to Mombasa, Kenya. MPS Squadron 2 sails to the vicinity of Mombasa, and the Offload Preparation Party and Survey Liaison Reconnaissance Party fly out to the ships. Their mission: prepare pre-positioned equipment for imminent offload and get liaison and reconnaissance parties ready to survey the port of Mogadishu. By December 9th, the situation ashore has reached a state of extreme volatility. The 15th MU is ordered to land at Mogadishu and secure the port and airfield to support the introduction of follow-on forces, including the Maritime Pre-Positioning Force and a Marine Expeditionary Brigade. 2 days later, on December 11th, strategic airlift from the United States begins to land 1st Force Service Support Group forward. It was clear that the focus of main effort would require a wide variety of supplies and equipment from the maritime pre-positioned ships. But the only way to effectively assemble required supplies and equipment from their holds was to offload virtually all the rolling stock, move the equipment to staging and marshalling areas near the port, and then pick and pull assets required to accomplish the mission. Mogadishu's port is austere at best. One ship at a time was able to go pierside. Subsequently, a substantial portion of the offload was conducted in-stream. All of this took time. Precious time for the Somali people desperately in need of humanitarian relief. The 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit was able to immediately commence initial humanitarian operations upon their arrival via helicopters and their limited number of motor vehicles. But the real capability of the Marine Expeditionary Brigade security forces were loaded on maritime pre-positioned ships, and a significant number of days elapsed before their stocks were offloaded and available to join that critical operation. During January 1993, other joint and allied security force supplies and equipment were offloaded, sorted out ashore, and assembled with parent units to begin substantial security force operations to support humanitarian relief for cities well inland from the coast, in some cases well over 200 miles. While the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit withdrew for further contingencies aboard the amphibious Ready Group on the 2nd of January 1993, both 1st Marine Expeditionary Force forward and the maritime pre-position ships remained on station to continue security force operations. Between January 28th and March 27th, the control of humanitarian sites was turned over to the United States Army. It took over 3 months for all the offloaded equipment to be cleaned, repaired, and backloaded onto maritime pre-position ships at the pier. Even though mission accomplishment was successful by any measure, there were some significant drawbacks. First, while only a small portion of the MPS's sizable capabilities was used for the humanitarian and security missions, the remainder of the MPS supplies and equipment set was effectively encumbered, offloaded at an austere, hard-to-secure cantonment area, and unavailable to the SINC or JTF commander for other types of missions that could have popped up elsewhere in the area of responsibility. Additionally, offloaded supplies and equipment not required for the humanitarian mission were exposed to harsh environments that degraded equipment readiness and significantly increased security and maintenance requirements. These drawbacks were obstacles that U.S. forces and personnel overcame. But if the United States was faced with a similar scenario in the future, could we expect the same level of success? Imagine that Operation Restore Hope was to take place in the next decade instead of 1993. Capitalizing on the capabilities made possible by Seabasing and MPF Future, the fielding of current and developing weapon systems, and the employment of emerging cargo handling and transfer technologies, we will show you how the United States could tackle this scenario in future operational environments. The date is December 2025, and the international community demands action as the Somali population faces starvation. Somali militias, led by ruthless warlords, deny foreigners access to the country through the airport or the port facility. On December 1st, 2012, the 15th Marine Expeditionary Unit is on station off the coast of Somalia. Soon to arrive is the Maritime Pre-Position Fleet Forward Squadron. This begins the rapid force closure phase of Seabasing. MPF-F ships, configured to receive tactical aircraft and surface craft, and house troops, begins to prepare equipment for employment during ship-to-objective maneuver operations. At the same time, air and surface craft arrive on station at the port facility in Mombasa, Kenya, which has agreed to provide support and access in support of the mission in Somalia. Also on December 1st, the first elements of the MPF Marine Expeditionary Brigade's fly-in echelon start their deployment to Mombasa International Airport from CONUS via strategic airlift. Within 7 days, the arrival and assembly at sea of the Marine Expeditionary Brigade to the sea base is executed with the use of high-speed operational surface craft and V-22 Osprey. Marines occupy berthing areas on the MPF ships as equipment is prepared and staged for forthcoming operations. Unlike a fixed port facility in a hostile country, the sea base is mobile and protected, providing the Joint Commander numerous options as courses of action are planned. As Marine Expeditionary Brigade ground forces continue to arrive and assemble, the MAGTF Aviation Combat Element has self-deployed to Mombasa and the sea base. The selective offload of both combat units and logistics will enable the Marine Expeditionary Brigade commander to carefully tailor his forces to meet assigned missions, each one executed in great speed and from over the horizon. From raids to evacuation of non-combatants, Seabasing provides the Joint Commander with flexible, adaptable power projection from the sea, but minus the weakness that encumbered pre-positioned forces in the past, an austere, static, and vulnerable port facility that presents the asymmetrical enemy a lucrative target. In each case of ship-to-objective maneuver, Marine forces on the ground are sustained from the sea base via the same long-range capable high-speed air and surface craft vehicles that maneuvered them to objective areas. Reconstitution of forces ashore are not limited to a fixed geographical point, and redeployment of supplies and equipment can be accomplished at the sea base and rapidly become available for follow-on missions. In this scenario, Seabasing and MPF Future have provided the Joint Task Force Commander the ability to rapidly project and sustain naval power from the sea within an anti-access environment. with operational characteristics such as flexibility, mobility, protection, scalability, integration, and sustainability. Seabasing and MPF Future ensure critically essential capability sets that enable Joint Task Force operations to rapidly meet the wide and varied threats emerging in the world of tomorrow.